Now talk us through what's driving the market today. We have seen a bit of a pullback these past two trading sessions after 2 weeks of gains. Hello, hello Renaldo.
How are you?
Well, thank you. Just talk us through some of the activity that we are seeing on the market at this stage. We have seen it pull back over the past 2 days.
Yes, this is the second time in a row that we've seen the NSE dip following a 14-day rally. But what we attribute this performance to is more of profit-taking. Yeah, we're seeing people on the sell side. For the first time in about 3 weeks, we're also seeing net outflows from foreign investors because the sales have actually exceeded the buys today.
Now looking at some of the the result that came out today was Standard Chartered Bank. It posted a 7% increase in pre-tax profit to 8.3 billion shillings, lifted really by growth in interest income. What did you make of those results?
Okay, Standard Chartered's results were well within our expectations, and I think it was a true reflection of the difficult operating environment in the country last year, because we saw high inflation rates, high interest rates. The high interest rates in particular made the operating environment for the banking sector particularly difficult. So we've seen 2 banks actually fall to these high interest rates, Cooperative Bank and Standard Chartered today, releasing below par results, lower than what most analysts had expected before the results.
A difficult operating environment there in Kenya. What are your prospects for the bank going forward?
Prospects for the bank going forward, like most other listed banks, are actually very good. Now we're seeing that interest rates have started declining. We're going to see an increase in lending and interest income. Most banks had declines in or had problems with the interest income. They might not have declined, but things like government securities, interest on government securities actually declined. But going forward, I think it's going to be a good thing. Also for government securities held for dealing, where most banks make a lot of their profits from.
You seem to be quite bullish on the banking sector. What are some of your plays within the sector?
Okay, for me, the interest rates are going to be the main determining factor for the performance of the banking sector going forward. Government securities in particular contribute for a huge proportion of banking sector assets. That's after loans and advances. So the declining interest rates will be actually a good thing for the banking sector, considering that they make a huge proportion of the income from trading government securities.
Which are your favorite stocks within the banking sector?
Within the banking sector, I think KCB, Equity Bank, those 2 banks are particularly resilient. I'm also looking at NIC Bank, which has performed well despite the high interest rates and inflation over the last year. So I think those 3 would be my best picks going forward.
Now looking at Kenya Airways, it came under pressure in today's trading session. The airline announced that it has priced its $250 million cash call at 14 shillings. We do know that the rights issue has already been 50% subscribed after France Air and the Kenyan government committed to take up some of the rights. What kind of demand are you seeing for the remainder of that 50%?
Okay, it's still too early to tell, but I think the prospects are actually fairly good because with 50% taken up, I would see that investors would also want to pick up the rights they are eligible to participate in. But also, we also have to look at the performance of the company as the operating performance of the company. They've already announced that the results will be below par, or there'll be a decline in the profits, but I still think the uptake will be fairly good.
And looking at Nation Media, it's expected to release results tomorrow. It hit an 8-month high in the session. What are your expectations on that front?
Actually, with Nation Media, I am bullish on the performance of the company. Going by their half-year results, the company actually declared fairly good results for the first half of the year. We've also seen the growth coming from the radio stations, particularly those the Swahili stations. And we're also looking at a new source of income, the electronic sources, the electronic media, which has low operating expenses, but has the potential to grow, considering the uptake of the internet is actually good.
Now looking at Uchumi, that's a stock that's been on the winning end for the past few trading sessions. What is your outlook on that stock?
With Uchumi, I think they've turned around the corner. Now they're actually declaring profits. They're operating well above people's expectations, and I am positive about the prospects of the company. I am also looking at the growth of the middle class and incomes, the growth of the retail sector, the ability of the company to compete with the other competing retailers, the other retailers in the market. And I think Uchumi is well placed to compete with the other retailers. So I think its prospects are good, and it's still undervalued at its current price.